The Inside the Dam podcast is brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. Check out Papa John's Pizza at 200 South Broadway Street in Minot for their deals and student discounts. And also, check out KMSU Channel 19's YouTube page every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the Inside the Dam podcast.
Good evening and welcome to Inside the Dam podcast, where we find out more about the student athletes here at MSU. I'm your host, Arianna Polonio. Now, the wrestling season started recently, and with me, I have a sophomore student who's had 7 wins in her freshman season, and is currently third place in the Saturday Beaver Bash Open at the 138-pound weight class. I'm here with Pua Beebe. Pua, thank you for being in the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I want to start with what are your expectations for the next matches to come? It looks like the team has been doing very well at this start. So what are you looking for next?
I'm really looking forward to getting new looks in. I've had a couple recent injuries this week, and I'm looking forward to resting up for the next 2 weeks until our next meet. I'm looking at dominating the mat and taking some names.
All right, that's awesome. And with that being said, I believe weigh-ins are crucial for wrestlers. Mm-hmm. So can you explain to our listeners what kind of routines requires you to keep your weight for the matches?
Okay. Well, in high school, it was a lot easier for me, I'd say, because I'm from Hawaii, so it was a lot hotter outside, and I was able to just run it off easily and wrestle. But here, it's a little colder, and I started to water load, which looks like drinking a gallon every day, and then closer to the weigh-ins, maybe 4 days, I increased water by maybe 16 ounces each day, eventually getting to a gallon and a half of water 2 days before, then decreasing to a half a gallon, and then no water the day before weigh-ins, so that I'm just cutting water weight and not food, and I'm I have enough nutrients in my body to energize myself during matches and win.
So would you say like you're used to it, or you find it difficult as it goes?
I found it it's gotten a lot easier as I gained experience in making weight. I tend to see a lot of my teammates have a hard time because they're transitioning from high school, mm-hmm. and a lot of women, like our bodies change from high school to college, and it's just working with the up and downs of our cycles and seeing how we are the day before.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned that you are from Hawaii. Mm-hmm. How did you get recruited to Minot State? I think that's an interesting question.
Okay. I actually did not know I wanted to wrestle in college until I'd say the summer of my sophomore year, and I talked to my high school coach, and he was really adamant about me reaching out to a bunch of coaches, just getting my name out there, sending out some videos and tapes. And I heard back from a couple colleges, and Coach Mitchum was really on it about getting me here, seeing the place, and meeting the team and feeling like the atmosphere here in Minot. And I really enjoyed the people here, and I felt welcomed, and I was like, this is the place I feel like I'm going to grow the best.
And how about the weather? Like, did you feel hesitant? Because I know like the winter is strong here in Minot, and coming from more like tropical weather, I would argue. How was that transition?
The weather was the biggest con on my list. It was originally between here and a school in Oregon, and I told myself I just had to make it through 1 year, 1 winter in Minot, and I will be fine. And my coaches were really good about checking on me throughout the winter and making sure I was okay, not feeling homesick. And I actually found some family up here in Minot who took me in and made sure I was taken care of during the holidays and things like that.
Okay. So of course, practice is a big part for your wrestlers, but something I'm interested in is how you handle also like the mental part of it. So what are the things that you keep in mind like during a match or even before like going into a match?
Okay, this is a hard one because I've always had, I would argue, a mental block when it came to wrestling. I feel like this year I really flipped the switch because I always came into last year and in high school, I would come into matches like feeling like an underdog or feeling humble or respectful towards my opponents. And this year, I decided that maybe I'd get onto that mat and I'd be the top dog and I'd be better. And so this year, I decided to tell myself some affirmations before matches. Is you're a beast, you're a hammer, and you're beep. It's a and you're the B word. Yes,
I get it. I get it.
yeah. And I just had to keep that in mind that I'm good and I put in the work to be here.
Well, words for affirmation, I love it. And it seems like it paid off in that Beaver Bash Open that you were third place. So how about, so we're highlighting the victories and then you kind of mentioned kind of like that confidence mentality. And then how do you go about like handling a losing match?
Losses are really hard. I like to view them as learning points because you could always take away losing. I feel like is the best way to learn because you get to see exactly what failed and what you need to work on. And immediately after a match, it really stings. But you have to remember that you have so much more matches to come, especially in a tournament where, especially actually this past weekend, I started off the tournament with a hard loss against Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart and I had to take a minute. I had to take a step back. But I spoke, my family came to visit and I spoke to my mom and she was like, no, you were here and here. You just lost a couple 50-50 battles and you got to make these adjustments. And I was like, yeah, I'm all good. I'm all good. And I kept telling myself that. And the next match, I was like, I'm going to win these 50-50 battles.
Well, I'm glad that you also have the support to push you through the hard times. And yeah, so of course, you're a student athlete. School's a lot of work too. You had last season the NCAA Women's Scholar All-American Award. And that means it's an outstanding performance both as an athlete and in your academic achievements. So how do you go about keeping the balance as being a student athlete and having excellent grades?
Honestly, I just remind myself that I'm here mainly to get a degree. I'm not going to put myself in a position that will jeopardize my future because at the end of the day, I want to go back home and I want to be able to afford my lifestyle. I want to be able to live in what some people might say paradise, and I want to have a great life there. And in order to do so, I need to do good in school and I need to get that degree. I need to get a great career. And balancing school and work, honestly, I just tell myself that all my life is right now is going to be school and sports. And once I get home during the breaks, I could do whatever I want. And then I could just let loose and be whatever's.
Well, you talked about your degree. What's your major here at Minot State?
Well, I just got into the nursing program, so I'll be starting this program in the spring.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure nursing is rough. How are you feeling about that?
I'm a little bit worried, but my coaches seem to have confidence in me, so I just need to have it in myself and continue to just grind at it and yeah.
Okay, so I have a final question for you. You played softball, Sacred Heart Academy back home.
Yes.
How did you go from like softball to wrestling, and also how's that experience playing softball?
Well, I actually I played softball before I started wrestling, and I started wrestling to stay in shape for softball. But over time, I fell in love with wrestling, and I was like, okay, I didn't really have a future in softball, if I'm being totally honest. I was not the best. And I just saw softball as like a fun sport to like get my Letterman, of course, get my varsity jacket, and have fun with a bunch of my classmates and my teammates and build connections and have experiences. And I think a lot of the mentality from softball really helped me on the mat, and it was really helpful for me.
So what would you say that kind of mentality was to keep you, let's say, like grounded when wrestling?
Well, I had a lot of hard showings in softball, but my coach was always making sure that I was all right, and they were kind of like a second family because I was going through a rough time back in my own household, and softball was like a support group. Like they were just there all the time and made sure I was good.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. And when are you guys having your next wrestling match?
Oh, we are having our next wrestling match in 2 weeks. I believe it's an away duel.
So are you guys feeling confident? Is it home or is it away?
It's away. I'm really confident in our team this year. Coach Mitchum has done a great job at recruiting in a bunch of spots that we were missing wrestlers, and yeah, just gotta make some weights. Everybody gotta make weight this week, and we'll be fine.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Pua. I appreciate you coming to the podcast. Again, this was Inside the Dam. Make sure you check out the women's wrestling next on December 5th. And I appreciate Pua being here. And then again, Minot is a place for everyone. And for you wrestlers out there, remember, words of affirmation for the next match. Thank you all and have a good night. I was your host, Arianna Polonio.